Into the corner now to Oscar Sundqvist. Back to Holloway. Score! That line just needed its binky. And Sundqvist finds Holloway. Holloway buries it. 1-0 Blues. To get it to the right side. In. Snuggerud shoots. Score! To the line, Fowler, shot, rebound, score! Suter off the rebound. With 5 seconds remaining in the power play, they get the goal. We're tied, 3-3. 9:12 to go, third period. To the line, Fowler, shot, rebound, score! Suter off the rebound. With 5 seconds remaining in the power play, they get the goal. We're tied. 3-3. 9:12 to go. Third period. Jake DeBrusk played for Jim Montgomery in Boston. Trying to win it for Vancouver. In on Bennington. Shoots. Scores. Vancouver wins in the shootout.
Man, that hurts, right? Like, it hurts. That's the way that the game ended. And it shouldn't hurt because, my goodness, what a game by the Blues tonight. Welcome, everyone, into the fourth period. It's, as always, presented by First Community Credit Union and Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Zwickel Brewing Company. Alex Ferrario with you back up here in our broadcast booth inside Enterprise Center, where the Blues do fall to the Vancouver Canucks 4-3 in a shootout. Let's get all of this out in the front. Yes, they lost again. Yes, it was a 6-game losing streak now. Yes, they left a point on the table. All of those things have been said and are understood. But now that they're out of the way, I do think there's a lot of positives to take away from this one, because despite the Blues losing this game tonight, this felt like progress was made for what Jim Montgomery has been talking about. This did not feel anything like what the Blues have gone through in the previous 5 games and the previous 5 losses. First of all, you didn't give up 5 or more goals. That should be a check in itself. You played a better game defensively. Yes, I know you gave up 3 goals essentially, 1 with the shootout. Yes, I know that somebody got a hat trick on you. We'll discuss that as we move along. But I think it's important to look at the signs of growth from the team that they were trying to develop, than worry just about the one loss. It's bigger picture rather than the instant results. With that being said, we've got lots to get to. We'll hear from Jim Montgomery. We'll get reaction from the locker room with our sound bites of the night. And we'll also have our final look at this one and then look ahead for the Blues. But before we do all of that, let's get to our Ted Drew's 3 takeaways.
It's time for tonight's 3 takeaways, presented by Ted Drew's Frozen Custard, a St. Louis tradition for over 95 years. Unmatched quality, unforgettable taste.
So first takeaway from me, the result of this game to me was a positive for the Blues, and here's why. I think they found their identity, or at least have an idea of what the identity of this team should be. Now, that identity is not giving up odd man rushes. I think the Blues gave up 6 of those tonight. That identity is not allowing the opposition to pull back into the hockey games. Those are things that I would imagine Jim Montgomery is going to tighten up. But why progress was made, and to me this one was successful, and Joey V's going to hop in alongside us. This to me was steps forward, Joe, from a group of players that probably had 0 confidence coming into this one. I mean, it felt like in the offensive zone at 5-on-5, they couldn't be stopped. Cycling the puck. Vancouver didn't know what to do. Both periods, second and third, Vancouver's goal was the first shot on goal, and that was after the midway point of the year. Ken Hitchcock used to say it, to come out of a losing streak, you're going to lose a game that you probably should have won. That's why this one felt like it was a step forward.
It was. It was definitely a step forward. I know it's only a point you wanted to, but you know what? It's weird. This game continues to almost be on the backside of the Blues, where maybe they're not getting the luck that they're deserving. I thought they deserved more tonight. But then on the flip side, I mean, they could have lost it all.
Yeah.
You know, that Evander Kane goal, you know, if that wouldn't have gone their way, then all of a sudden it's a 4-3 game. Maybe you walk away here with 0 points. So the margin right now is so thin. But big picture, when you look at this league and this team and this season as a process, this was a massive step in the right direction. And you know what? I thought it was a really good character point because you have Thomas out.
Yeah.
He's your leading producer as far as chances created. You have your leading goal scorer and Jake Neighbors out. You know, you have Dalibor Dvorsky coming up. You have Jimmy Snuggerud, who had a good game for his fan a couple weeks ago. He was big. You needed that secondary scoring. Now, listen, Vancouver, they didn't really get secondary scoring outside of one player. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood was an absolute animal on the ice here tonight. But outside of that, they didn't really have anything else. But then you look at the Blues, they had depth of that second opportunity. Pius Suter had a great game. Of course, Oscar Sundqvist, Dylan Holloway continues to stay hot against versus the Canucks here in the last couple seasons. And I thought the D jumped. You know, every player on the Blues had at least one shot on goal, which is a really cool stat when you're looking at the depth and everyone contributing. So, again, I know you're disappointed in the point, but this is a game that I think now they can collectively look at tomorrow and say, look at all these great clips. Look at the D zone. This is what it looks like. I'm telling you, if you play that tight in the defensive zone from this point moving forward, if you come close to that, you're going to give yourself a chance to win every single night.
You didn't give up the grade A scoring chances, the home runs that Jim Montgomery was talking about. I mean, Sherwood, 2 of his goals were off of the rush, and then the third one was a broken play with a stick that, I mean, it looked like Binnington couldn't see around 4 different people. There wasn't a goal given up. Now, there were a couple of scoring chances, but there wasn't a goal given up in front of the slot.
No, exactly right. And so I think that that's what the most important thing was moving forward. You know, there was certainly a handful of items that the Blues were not doing well coming into this game, and they were aware of it. But you know what I love? I love the way Jim Montgomery simplified this whole thing. He said, yeah, we have probably 4 or 5 big things we need to start figuring out. Mm-hmm. But one thing is you can't overwhelm the players with too much. You have to start with one. And I thought the fact that he started with let's take care of defensive zone hockey in the middle and let's build, to me, that's where to go. I remember when he became a new coach here last year, and we were talking, he was about a month in, and we were talking about, you know, when you come into a new team that's struggling, how do you start a turnaround? And, of course, there was a great turnaround. And he said the hardest thing for a coach to do, and this is last year, the hardest thing for a coach to do is come in and recognize that there's 5, 6, 7 things that need to be corrected, and you throw all those things on the players. They can't handle it. It's too much. It's system overload for the players. So what you have to do, and this is hard for a coach because you want to just fix everything, right?
Yeah.
But players can't take on that much. So you have to start small, and then you have to build. In a lot of ways, Alex, I kind of look at it the same way here. You know, there was a lot that they needed to figure out. But what did he do? He didn't overwhelm us so much. Right? You don't have a lot of practice time here. This is a condensed schedule this year because of the Olympics, so there's not a lot of time to practice. Yesterday was an optional skate. Not everyone was out there. This morning's a morning skate, right? There's just not a lot of reps happening.
Yeah.
So you have to start somewhere, and I love the fact that he started from the basic, the foundation of what we are, which is a defending first team. You took care of the middle of the ice. The Blues did that here. They deserved 2 points. They should have walked away here with 2. They had plenty of scoring chances. They dominated the majority of that game. But again, you play that game, that exact same style, I promise you're going to win probably 7 out of those 10 games.
The other thing I really felt good about, Joe, was the adversity that they handled. You said it on the broadcast, I think, after Sherwood took the 3-2 lead, that this is the moment where you get punched in the mouth, and what do? What do you respond with? This never snowballed on the Blues. I mean, it could have. You give up the goal to Sherwood when you go up by 1. You give up the goal to Sherwood when you go up by 2. And then you give up the goal before early on in the third period, and both were off the first shot on goal in each period, but the Blues never wavered. They continued to push back.
They did. And, you know, they continue to push by driving the middle and driving the hard areas. You know, when you're down 3-2 and you're thinking, oh, boy, here we go again, right? I saw Matthew Joseph. He took on the front of the net on Storm. I mean, he completely burst right through there. Didn't draw a penalty there. But moments later, you had Pius Suter driving, we had Pavlovic-Neves driving,
Yeah.
and I think it was ultimately Nathan Walker that was in front when Marcus Pettersson, the defenseman for Vancouver, took a penalty in that third period. So you drive the net, you draw penalties, right, and then you have your power play go to work. And that's exactly what happened. So you're driving, you're grinding, you're getting to the front, you're going to the areas where they're not fun to go, but you pay a price to get there. You earn yourself a power play, and then, of course, Pius Suter gets on the board, gets the equalizer in that third period. That's what hockey is, right? That's hockey. And I think for a while there on the offensive side of things, we've heard Jim Montgomery talk about this a lot to start the year. We just don't have enough presence at the front of the net.
Yeah.
So, again, as much as you took care of the defensive side, and the Blues did, they actually, when you take care of the defensive side, it's amazing. This is the most honest game on earth. You take care of the D side, you take care of what you need to, you're going to find offense. And I just love the way the Blues buried their nose, buried their head, Alex, got to the front of the net. They drew penalties a lot here tonight. And their power play came up big. It was a big part of the game.
How about that? So I wrote this down. So they had a total of 9 shots on the power play, 3 power play opportunities. Of those 9 shots, Joe, 6 of them came from that second unit.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too. That second unit is more of a shot unit.
Yeah.
And it just is. I mean, you look at the goal by Pius Suter, yeah, it's a great net drive by him. He gets a fortunate rebound, but it's Cam Fowler. He's at the point. It's not a hammer. It's not a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot. Just get it through, right? We've seen it happen all year long against the St. Louis Blues.
Sundqvist and Dvorsky were there.
They
also.
were both there. I thought Dvorsky got a tip on that. That would have been his first NHL point. I don't think they registered for it, but
I don't know if
unless they changed it. But you know what? You got Dvorsky there. You got Sundqvist there. It's kind of that power I formation of a double tip or a double screen, rather, and it gets through. And then you find the fortunate rebound right there. I'm a big fan of that second unit.
Yeah.
Because you have a Shooter and Fowler. You have Dvorsky and Sundqvist that are in front of the net. But then Dvorsky also pops out for his one-timer. You have Jimmy Snuggerud on his one-timer. And listen, both those young kids, they played a hell of a game here tonight. I like them on the power play because you got 2 one-timers, 1 on each side. And they both want to shoot it. I mean, Dvorsky in the very first period, his shot hit the post late in that first. And then don't get me started on Jimmy Snuggerud, his shot. I mean, it is just absolutely scary. This was a good night for the growth of this organization, for the growth of the young boys.
And then added Logan Mailloux to it as well. I thought he had a really good game.
And he had a tough start. He took 2 penalties back-to-back, and, of course, they scored on the second one, which, of course, tied the game at 1 on Kiefer Sherwood's first goal. So it was a tough start, but I love the way he bounced back. He was jumping up in the offensive zone, had a couple good shots on net as well. So I would say this was a big step for that younger group, and the question was going to be which of that second layer of scoring was going to step up big. But for Dvorsky especially, I mean, Jimmy Snuggerud, we've seen it, right? He's had some really solid games this year. I thought defensively this was by far his best game. You look at him in the D zone there with a minute to go and seconds to go, 2 faceoffs. He's out there. I mean, that says a lot. If you want to know who won the team that the coach really trusts, go to a hockey game, tie game, or 1-goal game late. Whoever's on the ice, those are his guys. That's who he wants out there. And Jimmy Snuggerud's out there. And not only out there, he made a block on his rear end with like 12 seconds ago. And then he made the poke that led to the game eventually going into overtime. He made a great
play in overtime.
Oh, man, his back check in overtime. I thought he was just as good defensively as he was offensively, and he had that wicked shot. So Jimmy Snuggerud, this was his best game defensively. But Dalibor Dvorsky,
I want to end on that one.
We saw a boy turn into a man tonight. And when you have a young player, first rounder, spends a couple years in the minors, couple camps, little steps, baby steps, small steps, but then all of a sudden they take a giant leap. Tonight that was the giant leap. This was a giant leap for Dalibor Dvorsky. I sensed it this morning talking to him in the stall. He didn't seem skittish. He seemed sure of himself. He seemed like he had authority. He seemed confident. He seemed comfortable in his own skin. And we had a great conversation, and he just felt good. He looked good. And then he took that feeling right onto the ice here tonight. And listen, this isn't a call up to, hey, let's get your feet wet. Let's give this kid a couple more games, get him comfortable. No, we need you. Like, this team needs you. They're missing a couple big guys. It is your opportunity. And it's not just a call-up, Alex, on a third or a fourth line, hey, go eat up 8 minutes and bang some bodies. This is a, hey, we are missing our top centerman. You're a centerman. We're going to give you 2 guys that are going well, Kyrou and Joseph. Go out there and make an impact to the game. And not only did he do it offensively, his face-offs were great. He was always on the defensive side of battles. He was composed. His routes were good.
Went to the front of the net.
Yeah, he looked like he's been a player that's been playing in this league for, honestly, 3-4 years. I mean, he looked that good. So to me, he sees the opportunity in front of him, and there's going to be a bigger opportunity for him here. Even when Thomas comes back, if he can maintain this level of play, there's going to be some other moves around him, because to me, he was an impact player in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most of this game they had him skating with Holloway and Kyrou, which tells you how Jim Montgomery felt about him. And I'll wrap up with this, Joe, because I played some audio earlier on pregame. We had Connor Walchuk on, who's the head coach for Dvorsky down in the AHL, and we asked him, when does a young player know he's ready for the NHL? And he said, well, last season he would try and slide through games by talent alone. And he said this season he's come out and he's basically taken everything he wanted. And he said when you're not a passenger in hockey games, when you're the driver, that's when you know you're ready for the NHL. And that's what they said, and it felt that way when he was on the ice tonight.
Yeah, it did. And, with players like Dvorsky, so much of their game when they go from junior to minors and they turn pro, everything is driven through when you have the puck. Youth hockey, minor hockey, junior hockey, you're growing, you're 12, you're 14, you're 16, you're 18. Everything is when you have the puck, But when you turn pro and you turn this into a profession, all of a sudden you go from a kid playing hockey to a hockey player. And those are different. That's a difference there. You're young, you're a kid playing the sport of hockey. But this past year, he has now become a hockey player. He has taken this profession on. And the best area you can see that is their play away from the puck. When you're a kid playing hockey, you just want the puck. And when you don't have the puck, you're like, well, I don't have the puck, so I'm not going to do anything. A hockey player, a mature guy, a guy that's ready and seasoned, they take more pride in what's happening away from the puck than actually with the puck. Because the reality is, you may be lucky if you have the puck on your stick for 2-3% of the game, if you're lucky, right? So it's far more important away from the puck. And I think that, of course, the comments there from the coach is really summarizing that up. And I thought that play away from the puck, which led to offense, which led to confidence, was supreme tonight. I mean, again, tracking back in the neutral zone, back checking, supporting your defenseman, stopping in the D zone, sorting things out, taking command on face-offs. He's organizing, he's quarterback. Again, you look for little things like that shows confidence. And, Alex, he had it 200 feet here tonight.
Joe, I've kept you way too long. You've been like in 18 different places from 5 o'clock on. You're all over the place.
Like flash 100-yard dash.
You need to put a statue up here of you in the broadcast booth.
That'd be nice.
You want a bronze one or you want a gold one?
We'll turn that 101 ESPN sign into Joey V.
It's called
Joey V, Alex, and Jimbo.
There we go. We'll make it our broadcast booth.
We'll do it.
It's lonely up here. There's cobwebs starting to build up over on that side of the area.
I know.
Need you back up here. Great call tonight, my man.
It's good to be with you guys.
There you go. Joey V is going to be headed to the airplane soon and headed off to the Columbus Blue Jackets for their game on Saturday. Jordan, let's play our soundbite of the night next.
The soundbite of the night is presented by Rocket Convenience Stores. Fuel your car and your daily cravings at Rocket Convenience Stores.
I think so. I mean, obviously it's tough right now. I don't think we're playing bad. It feels like we're making a couple mistakes and it's back in our net. It's tough. But I don't think. I mean, most of the games I think we're playing pretty good. We almost got 40 shots on that. So.
Have you seen anything like this? I mean, where you talk about the mistakes are minimal, but when they are made, they're in the back of the net. Have you seen anything like this before?
No, I don't think so. It is tough when you see it too, and like I said, it's not like we're passing up the middle and they walk down the highway and rips it in. It's small mistakes, and we're maybe more not protecting the middle ice good enough, because I don't want anyone to write anything about me trying to rip the goals apart here. Binner and Hope has been amazing for us for years, and they've been playing good, and they work their asses off every day. So none of this is on them. It's on all of us, and we just need to be better at covering the middle and covering up for them.
Did you do a better job of that tonight, though?
I think so, a little bit at least. A little communication mistake on that PK goal. Obviously it's some rebound goals, and obviously breakaway. Not much you can do there, but we're trying. I mean, it's I don't know what to say. It's kind of it's hard right now, and it's we just need a freaking win.
This guy, we outshoot them 39-18. Is that a game that you really should win?
I think so. I think we're better than them most of the game. And we should win this game. That's the bottom line, and we didn't, and it sucks. And honestly, right now, I wouldn't care if we get dominated a full game as long as we win.
You feel like the dam's going to break, though, at some point here, and the breaks are going to start going your way, because it seems like there was a couple breaks out there that just went against you tonight.
Yeah, no, that's what we're believing in, and we're talking about it within the group and with the coaches, and we just got to keep going. Like I said, I don't think we're playing bad. I think we're playing hard, and we're creating a lot of scoring chances, and we should have won more hockey games, but. It's at some point it has to turn. It just has to.
So how difficult is it to try and build off of, like we were talking about, some of the things you felt like you guys done well when, like you said, you just need the win. I mean, when you don't have the win, how different is that, trying to build off of the things that you guys feel like you did do well?
I don't think it's difficult at all. I think it's more have that in mind, what we did well, and like I said, we got to clean up covering the middle of the ice. We're talking about it, and obviously people getting frustrated, obviously that not going our way. But we just need to stay together and stay compact and kind of just try to figure out this covering the middle part, and we should be all good.
There you go. That's Oscar Sundqvist covering the middle part. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it has been. Still not good enough. And that's probably the biggest takeaway from the players down in that locker room. But I think Oscar Sundqvist feels like a lot of Blues fans feel. It just felt like you should have won this game tonight, and it does suck. And I see plenty of the comments talking about how massive missed opportunity for the Blues with a team that was down 8 or 9 players. We'll talk about that when we get to the final look. And we're going to hear from Jim Montgomery on the other side. It is the fourth period. Extended post-game coverage here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN.
Welcome back to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.
Final time here on the fourth period, presented by First Community Credit Union. Alex Ferrario back with you. We got Jordan Deacon doing a phenomenal job back in our studios. Jim Hewer, on-site engineer, who's also doing a phenomenal job taking care of us on the airwaves tonight. How about my Ferrario stat of the night? This is just a segment I'm going to come up with right now because I looked at this. I'm thinking when Sherwood scored that hat trick, I'm like, man, I feel like there have been a lot of hat tricks against the Blues this season. There haven't been. There have only been 2, although I guess I could hear the argument of 2 in 11 games isn't good. But how about this for you? In 11 games that the Blues have played this season, there have been 9 of those games where a player has been on hat trick watch. 9 games where a player has been on a hat trick watch against the Blues. Now, 2 of those 9 games have been a hat trick, and then 1 of those games, 2 players were on hat trick watch. Keller got the 2 goals, and then Logan Cooley had the 4 goals. But I thought that was crazy. In 11 games so far this season, 9 of those have had players on hat trick watch, but only 2 hat tricks going in. So I'll take that one as a positive rather than, 9 guys having hat tricks against the Blues. Let's hear what Jim Montgomery had to say after his team's 4-3 shootout loss to the Canucks.
It's time to hear from the head coach, Jim Montgomery, presented by Fisher Window and Door Store, offering quality American-made Marvin windows and doors. Visit their showrooms in Brentwood or East Alton, Illinois.
Jim, can you take a game like that most nights and feel like you're going to come away with 2 points when you play?
Yes, usually. And not because of the shot clock. We're not a real shot on goal evaluators as a staff, but we had a lot of point blank shots. We had a lot of traffic going to the net. We created a lot of chaos offensively. But Vancouver did a good job of hanging around, and then they got the lead a couple of times. I love the way we fought back. Some of the goals that we gave up, we got to be smarter. We got to continue to build in the right way. We did build tonight. It's a step in the right direction. We need to win that game. It's that simple.
Sonny was just kind of lamenting his missed scoring chance. A few chances tonight that you probably got to have.
I got to think that there's 6 to 7 chances that should have been in the back of the net. At least we're there now. We're getting more chances. That's a good thing. So it's a step in the right direction. That's the positive. The negative is there's some game management issues and there's some decisions that just we have to become a smarter hockey team.
The same problem where they don't get many chances, but they get some grade A chances.
Yeah, well, you give up a breakaway off a 2-on-2, that shouldn't happen. We didn't get lucky with the goalie interference, but you can't be giving up that many cracks from the middle of the ice with 3 minutes left. Guys that are out there have to value ending plays, protecting valuable ice a little more than what we are doing right now.
Was the staff feeling pretty confident there that you should make that challenge?
You know what? It was right down to the last minute. We saw the overhead on the bench pretty quick. Elliot Mondu did a really good job saying, I'm not sure right now. I'm not sure. The communication lines through Coach Ott were great. And then when I called the ref over to buy some more time, we had seen it enough that I was comfortable, ready to challenge it. And then Elliot came in and said, yes, challenge it. Was stick on stick, and it went through his blocker side. So I was leaning towards it, and when he confirms it, because he studies all those things, it really made us feel that we were 80% certain it would get reversed.
Might talk about game management. That second goal they scored, Robert Steve Braco comes in, Bukestad's changing. Is that just communication awareness, or?
Well, there's 2 things there. Bukestad's fine changing. He should expect that the puck's going to go to the goal line. We have a 2-on-2, and it's an opportunity for our players to learn. We got to start learning and applying, though. Broberg it's just a 2-on-2. He thinks he can hit 26 for a breakaway. He's not on a breakaway. So the puck just needs to go to the goal line because they've all been out there for a while. 55 is coming to join as the third man. That can't happen, you know. One defenseman's in, the other defenseman protects the middle of the ice. That's the way we want our defensemen to play when if their partner is in the offensive rush.
Talking about protecting the middle of the ice as a whole, did you do that much better tonight?
We did it better, but not to the level that we need to do it. We'll continue to get better at that.
There's a lot about the game tonight, but Dvorsky, what do you think about his game?
I thought he was really good. Played a really good game. You know, I thought he did some really good things on the power play. He looked, I liked his speed and pace tonight. So a lot of good things about him. And then I thought our other young forward was our best forward tonight, Snuggerud.
Is that one of the reasons why you felt comfortable with them? You had them out there with late in the game, time game. They deserve the ice at that point, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely did. If I didn't think so, I wouldn't have put them out. I mean, that's that simple. When it comes down to, as a coach, you have a gut feel behind the bench, and you have a gut feel about who are the players that might get it done, and that's who you put out there in those situations. Usually it's not your young forwards, but tonight they played really well, that they had earned it.
It was one game with Dvorsky, but does he look like a guy who could stick around and help you?
Too early to tell. Yeah, I mean, you know, you get called up, you get really excited as an individual, your adrenaline's going, there's a lot of dopamine going on. It's the NHL, you're excited. We play in front of great fans. Now it's the everyday, it's the recovery now. We practice tomorrow, we go to Columbus, we got to do it. It's rinse, repeat. We got to play better than we played tonight. Hughes wasn't there for Vancouver tonight. That's their best player, right? I know we're missing Thomas, so you can say that's a wash, but you know what? We're the more desperate team right now, and now we're going into a Columbus team that's playing really well. I think they're 5-1 in their last 6.
It's time to take a look back at tonight's game with the final look.
Driven by Pure Performance. Only stop for all your aftermarket vehicle needs.
Once again, Jim Montgomery. So let's get the final look. I loved it. Jim Montgomery, blunt, honest, forthcoming with his team. It's a game they should have won. And, you know, he can have that feeling, and I can see it differently as well, to where I felt like there were positive steps, and he does as well. It's not like he's just sitting here acting as if this was a failed game because you didn't win. He understands there's steps to be made, and it's progress from where they were for the last 5 games. And if you don't feel like this is progress from the last 5 games, then I don't know what to tell you, because this was absolutely different than the last 5 games. But, yeah, there are still mistakes being made. You know, go through each one of them. The Sherwood goal. A Jordan Binnington pass on the penalty kill to Justin Falk that gets misplayed. Puck that just needs to come out of the zone. The second Sherwood goal, Jim Montgomery broke it down. It's awareness on the ice. It's awareness on where the puck is going, rather than going east-west, north-south, when you've got guys that are trying to make a change, and defensemen being too aggressive. And then the third Sherwood goal, I mean, breakdown in terms of the zone entry, but also a wacky shot where Ratty's stick breaks. Sherwood picks the puck up around a broken stick on a player. Binnington's trying to find it and finds the back of the net. And he's right. First of all, 80% gut feeling on that goalie interference call is wild, because the scenario was, if they call it and it's not goalie interference, you're on the penalty kill with 2:32 left to go. And I guess as a coach, you got to take the chance if you're confident in it. But still, yes, that was called back, but also you can't allow those chances to happen. Those are the areas that need to be fixed. But to fix those areas, you got to feel confident in other areas of the game. What it's been is everything is broken. Everything is broken down, and you don't know where to go. You don't know where to start. Tonight, some mistakes. Not a lot of mistakes, some mistakes. But in the offensive zone, to me, they found an identity there. Cycling the puck, forechecking hard, making the other team make mistakes. Now it's about finishing. That's an area that you hope some of the puck bounces will go your way. You tighten up the areas on the defensive side of the game. But to me, not only did it feel like your team made progress, but, man, you saw some signs of real excitement on some of these younger players. I thought Logan Mailloux had a really good game tonight. Took 2 bad penalties. The one was a high stick. The other, tripping, not a good penalty. And it gave up a goal. Got to feel defeated at that point. But after that, he was forceful in his own end. He was good and a piece of the solution in terms of exiting the puck out of the zone, and even started to put some shots on net. And let me tell you, his shot, it is a heavy one. Not a slap shot, wrist shot that gets on net. He even caught the goalie off, cut him off by surprise. Jimmy Snuggerud tonight, one of the best players on the ice. Saw him late in the third period in overtime. That's trust from the coach. And then I really liked Dalibor Dvorsky's game. Montgomery's right. Don't get too far out of your skis because this is the elements of the NHL you got to figure out how to handle. But he was demanding tonight. He was forceful tonight, and he pushed the ice. What he said there at the end, he's right, and that's the coach speak of you should have won that hockey game. But I've seen a lot of people say, well, they were missing 9 of their guys. The Blues should have won. Yeah, they were missing Quinn Hughes. They lost Brock Besser after the first shift. They didn't have Connor Garland and Philip Hedl. The Blues were without Robert Thomas and Jake Neighbors. Those are your top goal scorer and your best centerman. And they were using a 20-year-old centerman in their top 6 who actually looked the part. So again, it's separating the two entities. One of they should have won that game. You needed to win that game to stop this losing streak. The other one is to stop this losing streak, you've got to start feeling good about your game in certain areas. And tonight felt like they found an identity in the offensive zone and made strides to fixing their problems on the defensive side of the puck. And those elements you hope can build together. We'll end it with what we said earlier and what Curb said on the post-game breakdown. Ken Hitchcock, a Hall of Fame hockey coach, used to say it all the time. To come out of a slump, you're going to lose a game that you probably should have won. That's what tonight feels like to me. Now, if they go lay an egg in Columbus, you got bigger issues because that's not making strides forward. That's taking one step forward and one step back. But if you play this same way offensively and you tighten up defensively, this feels like a team that might be coming out on the other side of a losing streak. We got to wait to find out, though. They got the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday, and he's right. Columbus has been playing some very, very good hockey. And as we all know, the Blues have their issues with this Columbus Blue Jacket squad and have for the last couple of years. They've won 3 in a row, 6-4 overall. The Blues will be taking on that Blue Jacket squad on Saturday. 6 o'clock puck drop, 5:30 pregame skate, 5 o'clock extended pregame right here on your home for the Blues 101 ESPN. Hope everyone has a great rest of their night. Once again, a huge shout out to Jordan Deacon and Jim Hewer doing a phenomenal job tonight. I'm Alex Ferrario. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their evening. Enjoy Halloween. Be safe. And we'll talk to you on Saturday for Blues and Blue Jackets, what I like to call the Battle of the Blue, right here on your home for the Blues 101 ESPN.
Thanks for listening to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing.